Right, we're live, and well, why am I starting a little bit earlier? Starting sooner than I would usually, because I know I would usually be kind of logging on at the top of the hour, but with 5 minutes to go, it's now in the States 4 minutes to 10, which means very shortly indeed, they're going to start loading people into Hall H. So I might as well dive straight into this and say good morning, SDCC. Welcome along to our daily show for San Diego Comic-Con 2025. It speaks volumes that I am not out there with you guys. I am here in the UK, and I'm still all fuzzy and incredibly tired and a little bit battered and bruised around the edges. But we're nearly there. It's one last day. It's been a hell of a ride. For some, it's been the quietest con they've had in years. For some, it's been an absolute joy to have as much to see and do, which has been interesting to experience, that people have really kind of enjoyed it. And then there's been some that have found it incredibly emotional, some that have found it confusing and baffling about how San Diego Comic-Con has operated this year, which is understandable. But we are going to get into one or two bits and pieces. I appreciate I've not got any audience at this point, but that's because people are either in the lines, getting into the building, or getting themselves sorted, considering that, well, I mean, there's just so much happening at the moment. I mean, I'm looking at so many great social media feeds at the moment. I'm currently in my command center, and I'm once again looking at about 13 different open windows and open slides. So it's going to be a little bit haphazard here, but what I have seen has just been incredible. Certainly from the likes of Comic Book Counseling, who I think we can just get that on screen. There you go. And what they've been up to this con has just been inspirational, frankly. I mean, they're still currently wandering around the exhibition floor, and they've got their last few comic book counseling pens. But considering that they've been hosting panels, they've been doing signings as well, and I mean, they've been at booths, they've been involved in a book called This Ink Runs Cold. So you've got some amazing creators involved in there, and they were involved in contributing into that, and they've been able to get some signings done. So Brad and Lisa, heroes, the pair of you, congratulations to an amazing weekend, especially considering that they were also involved in doing some live tweeting or posting about the Eisners, and between them and the Beat and Smash Pages, us outside of the room were able to keep up pretty much live with what was happening in the Eisners, and it was just an inspirational panel series of events. So fantastic stuff indeed. There's also good grief, all the notifications are coming in now. It's really starting to hot up. So let's just have a quick look at what else has been happening. Yes, Sarah Beth Pollock as well. She's been doing some stuff. We have had one or two people talking about why we have pivoted to Blue Sky and to Threads away from Twitter. I have opened up a sock puppet account so I can keep an eye on what's happening when it comes to lines and things that are happening in San Diego. For example, we've got the unofficial blog doing their thing as always, and they're keeping an eye on stuff, and we might as well check in with them now. This was from 4 or 5 minutes ago, considering at the moment it is looking like not the manic panel that we were expecting for Hall H for George Lucas. The Hall H line is now out past Adult Swim and growing quickly. So people are starting to realize, oh, there's this George Lucas panel. But for overnight camping, it got to midnight or even 7 o'clock this morning, and they were still only on B wristbands, which speaks to me that everyone who's going to be in the line at the moment, they're all going to get in. This historic panel, George Lucas, first time at San Diego Comic-Con. Just remember, all you people who are lining up right now, it ain't going to be about Star Wars, and it ain't going to be about George Lucas. It's about this museum that he has set up, the Lucas Museum for Cultural Arts, which with himself and Doug Chang and with Guillermo del Toro, they are going to be talking about a museum. So prepare yourself for an hour of that. Very unlikely they're going to be doing Q&As as well, but I'll be very curious to see if they do anything with that. Hall H generally has just been a weird one for me, considering that, I mean, social media generally has been very, very quiet. Yesterday was bizarre. It even got to the point where even throughout the course of the day, I was able to just kind of like step away and not really do anything. And I think for a good 4 or 5 hours, I didn't really post or share anything, mostly because, yes, it's a black site inside of that convention center, and getting any kind of signal out is pretty difficult. But also it was just a case of people were just absolutely exhausted. Really hit things hard on Thursday. You had some really good strong days on Thursday and Friday. And by the time Saturday rolled around, everyone was absolutely shattered and burned out. Andrew is watching. He's saying good evening from London. Hello, Andrew. Welcome along. Waiting until November for next year's tickets. Well, yes, we've got the dates now. I mean, they've been shared. We've got the dates for online badge registration for returning registration, and of course we've got the open online as well. We've got the dates; they're ready to go. So it's just going to be that kind of thing. Don't get that con crud. I'm not going to lie, I'm battered, and I think that's just down to the change in the time, my body clock, and just generally keeping it up on everything, and just balancing as much as I possibly can, considering that today has been a case of all of the interview bits and pieces that Dan Berry and Darren Schulman and some other people are getting footage and interview stuff for us. They were in with press interviews with the likes of Robert Kirkman and David Finch, so talking about the new Robert Kirkman Finch book, and also with Robert Kirkman about Transformers. Those are getting rendered, and we're getting those up very shortly indeed. I did post on the YouTube channel, so YouTube/Englishman SDCC. If you go on there, you can find yourself a video that Toby, who's a good friend of the show, he posted a video of the Jim Lee and Friends panel that took place in 6BCF yesterday. And there were some great people on that panel. I mean, you've had the likes of the Helen of Windorn creative team. So you had Tom King, you had Matt Lopes, and also the Eisner Award-winning artist for Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, who's now, my head is just going to completely explode because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Why can't I remember her name? Someone's going to tell me in the comments, and it just speaks volumes about how absolutely shattered I am. Why? It's right on the tip of my tongue. That's so annoying. Bill Chris Everly, of course. Why on earth didn't I think Bill Chris Everly? So there we go. So we've got a quick notice. Plenty of seats left in Hall H at 10 for everybody waiting outside. So that's the line for Hall H. That's the information we're getting on that one. So thank you very much indeed to Egal for spreading the word about that. Plenty of space in Hall H, so people are going to start, or they're feeding them in now. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting panel. It's going to be a full panel. Excellent stuff indeed for giving me that update. Thank you very much indeed. Right. Where was I? Yeah, so you had those three from Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, and also Helen of Windorn. But also you have Matt Fraction on the panel. And then you had, out of nowhere, James Gunn, who, quite frankly, for this Comic-Con, can wander into any room he likes. So he gate crashed and sat in on that panel. And I posted that up on YouTube. At which point I have been also looking around when it comes to YouTube with a couple of panels that people have been sending links to me personally, because there was a panel that took place on Thursday, which was the memorial panel for Clydie Nee, who was the person who used to organise the Artist Alley. Unfortunately, she passed away earlier on this year, and yeah, it was an emotional panel, and I'm about halfway through the panels that were being sent to me. However, for yesterday, certainly in Hall H, or in fact everywhere, I mean, just generally on the social medias, things were just really, really quiet. Nobody really sharing anything, and people are just either just really burnt out, struggling with signal, or just focusing on the session at hand. And the really intense fandoms really got involved. Obviously, you had Demon Hunter last night, which, considering that that is a really intense, passionate fan base, I guarantee that the Demon Hunter fans really couldn't care less about anything else. They're all about Demon Hunter. They were treated to a hell of a panel, including a 3-song live concert from Lisa from Blackpink, one of the biggest bands on the planet and one of the biggest artists on the planet, live on stage doing a 3-song performance. That's just insane. That's just really, really cool. Let's have a look at this. Solicitor Smeg, can you get Conquered from work? I think I have that. You know, I can totally agree with that one. Have all the panels been light on attendees from all your streams? It seems like it. Not so much light on attendees, just not as hardcore and so like sort of 6,500 in the room, 6,500 outside. It's been a manageable number. So, for example, in Hall H, it's been full with maybe 500, couple of shoots, or even just a couple of shoots, full outside trying to get in. So it's been vaguely manageable. But like I say, the panel that the Hall H stuff yesterday was really interesting for me, because it was really strong fandoms all the way through. So there seemed to be a lot of motion throughout the course of the day, and then it kind of, as it got into the back, you did have Peacemaker. I'm trying to find the lineup, because I did talk about it last night. Like I say, Hall H. Let's see where we are with this. You had an Entertainment Weekly panel in between Peacemaker and Demon Hunter, and then you had Kevin Smith, who apparently absolutely rocked the room. Excellent stuff. But it was this panel which has frustrated the hell out of me, because there was nothing online. You couldn't find anything, and it only took me going onto Reddit and asking to find out anything about this panel. This is Entertainment Weekly, a mainstream pop culture and entertainment website and magazine, hosting a panel in Hall H where it just said TBC with no description all the way through. And everyone who went to see Peacemaker just stood up and walked out, and not really knowing what this panel was about. And as it happens, we found out that it was basically a renamed and rebranded. It was the Women Who Kick Ass panel, which I do know that Eddie is a big fan of getting onto the programming, certainly in Hall H, in that kind of big space, giving it a really a strong audience to give it the chance to thrive. Like I say, this panel, which had no names attached to it, it could have thrived maybe if it was put a little bit further back and given that big space in between or just before Peacemaker, perhaps. And it just seemed so annoying for them to just not support that that particular presentation. I'm just trying to check. Here we are. So it was the Entertainment Weekly Bold School at 4:45, at which point I wanted to know if anyone knew anything about the panel and who was on it. And as it happens, I did get some names. So we're talking Taylor Page, who was the star of the Toxic Avenger. She's also in the latest Leonardo DiCaprio film that's coming down the line. You had Cote DiPaolo from NCIS, Madeline McGraw from Black Phone, Violet McGraw, Megan, her sister, starring who stars as Megan, and Harriet Slater, Outlander, Blood on My Blood. So five strong women in pop culture today. And I've been told that the panel itself was particularly bland, so the same questions that they ask every year. It just feels like this year, if not half-baked, it just feels unsupported. And we're feeling that about various panels and various rooms. And Ballroom 20, which is Interview with a Vampire. It was just, the fandoms are really intense and talking to themselves, and this whole idea of San Diego Comic-Con to expand the audience and get more people involved and to really kind of bring in new faces to a fandom and shine a spotlight so people can discover something new for themselves. It just seems kind of locked in and insular, and I'm finding that about fandom in general at the moment. And that's kind of come maybe, and this is going to sound incredibly weird, from something like The Big Bang Theory, where everything just feels locked in and insular, and whereas it was that case of the nerds were able to kind of get out there and we've taken over the world, but we've gotten very bitter about it, which is a bit annoying. Solicitorous Meg, I'm not gonna lie, I wish SDCC would clean house after every panel so everyone is filled with fans of the actual subject matter, but it would probably be hard logistically. Certainly with something like Hall H, certainly with Ballroom 20, probably something with Indigo Ballroom for slightly different reasons, because Indigo Ballroom's just a nightmare for logistics to get people in and out because of the way that the actual room is located inside that hotel. Ballroom 20, again, same drill. It's a little bit more awkward. But that is just down to numbers. You clear out 6,500 people, that's an hour and a half there. And next thing you know, you don't have 7 panels, you have 3 or 4, or even less. So yeah, logistically difficult to do, I'm afraid. And yeah, you'd also have people kicking off saying that, well, what if I want to attend the animation panel and then another animation panel, which happens to be a different studio? Why should I leave when I'm interested in both? It's just tough. It's really, really hard. And yeah, it's hard work. Then, of course, you've got the idea of maybe doing it as a ticketed event, as in the lottery, and then it goes into a whole other ball game. So yeah, really gets awkward. So, like I said, these are only going to be short episodes, just to kind of talk about this. We are going to do a bit of a wrap-up show in the middle of the week once all the dust has settled. Once we've got everything out in terms of images and photos and pictures and yeah, just everything that we can possibly share, we are going to do our best to do so. I mean, to be fair, we are getting some great pictures, and I mean, cosplay is absolutely off the scale. So Andrew English, who is our he been has just, yeah, absolutely amazing to see what they've been doing. Dan Berry is, or has been, exploring the floor, considering that he's been able to get in somehow on an exhibitor's badge, which is a bit spooky. So let's stop that. Everything just freezes up now because I've got like so many different windows open. Okay. Oh man, it's just been hasn't it been a bit manic? But you know what? It's been fun as well. It's been great to kind of see what people have been. Let's have a look out there. Okay. So yeah, I wish I'd have. What's this? What's he shouting at? He's not. He's just saying, I wish I was there with all the pictures I've seen. Yeah, it's just been something else, isn't it? So he has been able to kind of get around and see some stuff without people on the floor. So let's have a quick gander at some of the pictures he's sent. So people they're handing out stuff to the first 3-4 rows and not throwing anything further back. And apparently, was it either Fluffy or Jokoi got into the face of somebody who was actually in the room. Oh dear! It just seems what? Okay, that's how it's going to be. But a lot of people are going to be deconstructing that particular party and talking about how that could be organised a little bit better for next year. DC have gone all out with their booth, to be fair. So fair play to them. Like I say, we've got the DC booth, and they've got some big signings that are happening later on today. Sony Pictures Television, so they've been taking signings for the likes of Outlander. None of the rest of them being represented, of course. Either they're shooting or they're just wrapped up and they're just now getting stuff out. I am stunned there wasn't a full All Mankind panel, and also the Last of Us, considering that you do have upcoming seasons for them. The Daily Planet was represented on DC, and apparently that was just a great thing to take away. And yeah, also talking about their new Battle Royale as well. So yeah, really good stuff on DC. I did ask Dan to go round to the Diamond booth to find out, A, if it had been burnt to the ground by other creatives in San Diego, considering how Diamond are currently being pillorified by the industry at the moment. But apparently it's there, and it's stood up, and it's still kind of all kind of yeah, it's still standing higher. Yeah, this is a couple of booths that maybe I wasn't too familiar with, but yeah, maybe something we're gonna have to look into as some purveyors of fine merchandise that you can pick up on the floor. Star Race, not entirely heard about them. And yes, indeed, Katrina Dennis, who's been boothing this year instead of running around and doing her marketing things. So she's been rather busy, looking like in the back corner of the convention center floor. So I'm guessing down at Hall A. So hopefully she's been keeping busy and yeah, really enjoying herself as well. Let me just close that because I think there was a couple of messages. What's this? As long as I have no liquids near you, I should be fine. Are you kidding? My laptop A is currently burning every single ounce of processing power going, keeping all of these tabs open. And I've got a video editor, which thankfully has finished. So we will be getting that Robert Kirkman interview up relatively soon. And I do have liquid nearby. This is... Who knows? Okay. There, I've put the lid on it as far away as possible. Right, 20 past 10. People should be into Hall H. I'm going to keep an eye up now on people and how they the booths, how the lines are doing with actually getting into Hall H, how people are all settling in. So 5 minutes later, we see Sparks Flight. Listen, if it was alcoholic beverage, then yes, it would absolutely all go into flames, wouldn't it? Let's have a look, see how they update well and how fast they're going to get people in, and indeed what kind of no more. Oh, here we go. Hall H is currently down by KOTH. What's that? And still growing. Oh, King of the Hill, the King of the Hill activation. So people are still kind of building into it. So I'm wondering if an hour out, they're just kind of realizing there's a panel on and to making the way down. It's whether they can all get it. And English shows bottle model froze for 5 long seconds. Yeah, tell me about it. But these are going in, and I think, well, obviously in the next sort of 20, 30 minutes, we will find out exactly how, well, number one, it's going to be packed, and how many people are outside, how many people are going to be shut out from this particular panel. But there's loads of stuff still to happen, and still loads of things on the floor. So hopefully, plenty of places for people to check out and explore. We're going to do that today. We're going to do what we can to have a look at what everything has been happening on this last day of San Diego Comic-Con. But we are seeing a lot of people that are just absolutely burnt out. For anyone who turns around and says that San Diego Comic-Con isn't an event where things can get launched and news can get out, there have been some great comic reveals. There have been some fantastic news coming from comics and also from pop culture as well. So from TV, films, we've seen the trailers and the bits and pieces for Star Trek, for Strange New World, and also that rather cool trailer for Starfleet Academy as well. It's just, there is absolutely stuff which San Diego Comic-Con does very, very well indeed. And anyone who says that it isn't still a relevant event really doesn't know what they're talking about. There has been some bitching and griping and moaning, but it seems to be from people who haven't had their fandoms kind of mollified, and they haven't been kind of coddled with their own interests. So it's just been a little bit yeah, it's been a con of 50-50s. There's either people who have just been wishing that we had more of what we've had for the last 10, 15 years of Comic-Con just blowing up and just being absolutely hypermanic. And then there's been those that have been more than happy with getting the fandom sated that they've wanted to go and see. But then it's a case of finding that middle ground now. And are we in that kind of point of San Diego Comic-Con where it's an equilibrium? Social media certainly needs to do better to kind of spread the word. I've tried what I can on both Blue Sky and Threads to spread as much as I possibly can, but my word, it's been hard work. And I think more, I mean, even the unofficial blog, and they've got a team of 20 odd people posting stuff from various phones. I mean, I would have liked Dan Berry, and I'd like the other guys. I'd like anybody who wanted to contribute to the Convention Collective and my efforts, if they wanted to just take the password and just post stuff. Been seeing very difficult to kind of pull it all together into one place, and I think that's where people are finding that they're being pulled in all sorts of different directions. So it's hard work. It's hard work. I'm going to let you get off. I only wanted these shows throughout the course of the con to be nice and short and talk about the things that happened the night before, what people have got looking forward to. But like I say, with half an hour, 35 minutes to go for George Lucas on stage at San Diego Comic-Con, we want to see as many of these people into the floor as possible, considering that, well, it is just yeah, it's looking like people are suddenly realizing there's a George Lucas panel, and they're realizing it now. So it's whether they can actually get in that room. So we'll soon find out. Right, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We will do a bit of a recap. San Diego Comic-Con 2025. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday, everything together. See if we can get some special guests on, people that maybe were in the town, in the convention center. Maybe get Dan Berry on to kind of talk about what his experience was. But yeah, we'll try and get some people on to talk about what their thoughts and what their impressions of San Diego Comic-Con from the actual boots on the ground. We'll see how it goes. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're in San Diego, please have yourself a great time. It's getting slightly warmer now, although I've been told that wind is still coming over the bay. Very deceptive. So do be very careful if you are outside doing any of the off-site activations or just wandering outside the building. It is very, very deceptive of just how bright and warm it is out there. So please, sun factor, and make sure you got your cream on. If you're inside the floor, hope you pick up as much as you possibly can in terms of all of those special deals that you get on a Sunday. Have yourself an amazing con. And yeah, we'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much indeed for watching, and we'll be back in a couple of days as we break down San Diego Comic-Con 2025. From me to you, have yourself the rest of a great day. Bye-bye.